another live walk show. The only show where you just walk around and there's no fancy camera tricks or anything like that. So yeah, a bunch of good stuff going on. Got a lot of coin review videos. I know that coins have been a popular item historically, and the popularity is even increasing more now because it's just a it's a cool collectible, and there's so many different things that you can choose to collect when it comes to coins. You got different metals, you got different mints, you got different everything. Jake says, "Oh, looks like I'm the first one." Yes, you are. So Jake, you have Maya, McKenna, Katie, and Erica today, or are you at the station? Welcome aboard, everyone. See more of y'all tuning in. Always appreciated. GO1, hello. Hello, GO1. Great to have you, always. Had a bunch of people tuning in here. These walk shows, man, I tell you, good way to get out and chat and engage with the audience, which is a good thing. So anything exciting on the horizon, any new technology, any new whatever. I mean, it doesn't have to be technology. It could be travel destinations. It could be it could be hobbies. You know, speaking of what's new, the DJI Mavic Pro 3 is probably going to hit soon, and I don't know. I'm going to see how it pans out. I don't know if it's if it's going to necessarily be something that I'm going to be all over. I'll just have to see, once it hits the market, what the specs are, and is it really, because I mean, right now, even with the DJI Mini 2, you're able to achieve outstanding 4K video in a small and inexpensive package. So the fuzz coming for you, Kelsey? Yeah, man. I tell you, I had to duck in this grassy area. You could hear that. Yeah, they're everywhere, man. Policia. Jake says, exciting news. The new Wild Allender 4 has now arrived. She's currently at the Picton terminals waiting for the dock work to finish. A lot bigger than Wolf Allender 3. Oh man, that's huge. Yeah, I remember your Wolf Allender 3 video. Oh no, you said Wolf Allender 4. Wolf Allender Quattro. Awesome, man. Good stuff. Yeah, I got a scratchy throat, but I did one of those tests, and I came back negative. So everything's good. Yeah, I think diet and exercise, man, that's where it's at. Just get out and burn some fat and eat some good food too. So yeah, man, so you got Wolf Allender 4 Fairy, man, enormous, I tell you. Definitely is. But walking through this mud here, trying to stay off of it. Oh man. So, what else? Jake says, one of the 2 first ever fully electric ferries in Eastern Ontario, Canada. The other is the Amherst Allender 2. Very cool. Amherst Allender. Now, what are the, do you know the specifications of that one? The Amherst Allender 2. Just curious. The Big B 1973. I don't like these videos dizzy. Why is the camera on the ground? Well, great question, and thanks for the feedback. Yeah, this is just a casual, just a walk show. So it's it's all about the conversation, and nothing else. Now, the Big B, I will be doing a lot more live shows from the studio with the professional lighting, the broadcast quality audio, and live guest by way of Skype. And speaking of that, anybody out there is watching this, if you'd like to be a live guest on an upcoming IRIX Guys live show from the studio, drop me a message, and I'll see if if you're able to join. Kyle C says, I think I might buy some stonks tomorrow. There you go. Yeah, I'm kind of there's some interesting things in the market right now, in the stock market. I tell you what was interesting today was to watch the REITs, the Real Estate Investment Trust. They really had a small rally today. I think it's because there's alleged Fed interest rate hike coming in about a month, give or take a few days. Which Stonks looking at. Let's see what we got here. We got Jake says Amherst Island's surfing ferry is called Frontenac 2, and number info on the new ferry for Amherst Island at the moment, but when it arrives, I will be doing a video of it. Wolf Islander 4. Wolf Islander 4 will be in service possibly next spring. That's not too long of a wait. Cal C says, I just bought an industrial property REIT, Real Estate Investment Trust. Interesting. What, you don't have to say the particular ticker if you don't want to, but what's the price per share and what's the current dividend? Is it is it a quarterly or monthly or annual dividend? What's the current dividend and the current price per share? I'd be curious. I'm looking for, I'm always looking for new things to add, and I like REITs, Real Estate Investment Trust, because it's a way to kind of sort of virtually gain exposure to real estate without having to deal with be a landlord or deal with a property agency that cleans and handles all that and takes a cut. But Jake, all I can say now is Wolf Islander 4 is a bit bigger than Wolf Islander 3, and it will carry 75 cars. 75 cars. What if all 75 were Hummer H2s? It probably wouldn't carry 75. Monthly dividend is 4. Okay. What's the price per share? Interesting. Oh, if you go by the train tracks and one passes, can you show it? Oh, yeah. Yeah, thing is, I'm usually pretty far away from the train tracks because I'm afraid of the tracks. Not good for walking. It's funny, man. One time I was on the tracks, walking around the tracks, and somebody hopped off a train, and I didn't feel threatened, but you never know, and I didn't have anything with me at the time, so because when I camp and stuff, I always use a CCW. Never a bad idea to be safe. Jake says videos upcoming on my channel. Yeah, I only burned about 76 calories so far, man. I gotta step it up. And walking kind of slow. Oh no, buffering. Yeah, Jake, you saw that. I think sometimes there's a little bit of wind, and this sounds really stupid, but I think when the wind blows, sometimes my 5G experiences intermittent loss of connectivity, which leads to buffering. Now, when I'm in the studio, it's different because there, often I forgot to delete some files that are going to iCloud, and they clog the pipe. So when I do a live stream from the studio, usually there's no buffering unless I've got something uploading. Yeah, it happens, man. Good thing is we're still live and we're still streaming here. Yeah, I may do some walk shows from some different areas where I can show the scenery. There's just nothing here to look at. I mean, it's just abandoned parking lots and the street and some grassy fields. But yeah, it is what it is. Appreciate y'all tuning in. It's good reading these comments and talking to y'all while I walk. You know, walk and talk. That's what they say, right? Walk and talk. So yeah, just doing the walking and the talking. And $16 a share. That's not bad. I've dabbling with REITs anywhere from, on the low end, I've got some around $3 price per share. On the higher end, around 12, 13 bucks a share. But you know, ultimately, I don't know what I like to look at. Jake says, and to answer your question about my sisters and girlfriend are with me. Yup, they are. It's Canadian Thanksgiving today, so I'm off. Oh, happy Thanksgiving. That's right. It is Canadian Thanksgiving. But yeah, with the REITs, I don't know, there's something I like to do, and again, this is for entertainment purposes only, and it should not be considered a recommendation to buy or sell security, but something I like to do is look at the 52-week high and low. And if you look at most of the REITs, not all the REITs, but a lot of the real estate investment trusts, probably what you'll find is that a lot of them in 2020, for obvious reasons, beginning of 2020, they fell off the cliff. So, you know, they pretty much bottomed out. And, you know, the strategy I've been using, and again, entertainment purposes only, should not be considered a recommendation to buy or sell security. But the thing I've been doing is bottom fishing. You know, I'm like, well, you know, if I can accumulate a reasonable quantity of shares across a variety of different REITs that are paying dividends, you know, that's something that potentially, again, there's no guarantees, but it's something that potentially could become something big in the future. And, you know, something I like to do, because when you're dealing with REITs, if there's something called capital gains, there's a lot of stuff that comes into play that, you know, if you're putting them in a traditional investment account, it can become a major tax challenge, because you know, with those capital gains are taxed differently, and you can potentially, you know, increase your I don't know. I'm, again, entertainment purposes only, but it's a mess. So I do them all in. I do them all through. I set up a simplified employee pension fund, and I buy all my REITs through that, and then that way I shouldn't get hit until I withdraw after retirement. So, but the problem is with that is that the way everything's going up, you know, by the time that time comes, I mean, who knows how high the taxes are going to be. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, you know. But I mean, I don't know. Jake says, lucky it was my right arm, not my left arm, but my dominant arm, left-handed. Oh, very cool. That's cool. Yeah, that's rough, man. Let's see, I'm burning more fat. I've walked almost a mile, burned 106 calories, which is jacked. Because I had pasta, and then I had some chocolate dip pretzels for dessert. So that probably was not the best, not the healthiest food choice, but it was good. It was good. You know, that's what matters. I mean, don't get yourself too obsessed with dieting, because if you do, it won't be good. Look at my comment above to learn what happened. It must have, let's see. Plus, I ended up busting my arm really bad after I took a nasty fall. Ouch. Okay, that just came through. I had to scroll up. I guess something when I was walking. Would you consider yourself to be a dividend investor? No, not at all. No. I wear many hats. So, one of my hats is the crazy, I'm going to go after the pink sheets and the triple zeros and become a multi-millionaire. That's one of my hats. The other hat is the tangible asset investor. Someone that's going after physical gold, someone that's going after physical silver. Someone that wants to have a tangible asset, something one can hold in their hands. And then the other personality is the dividend investor, because there's something about, and again, this is just for entertainment purposes only, should not be considered a recommendation to buy or sell security. But there's something about dividends that are exciting. Just the idea of having certain tickers in your portfolio that pay, if you're in before the ex-dividend date, they should pay on the dividend date whatever the dividend amount is. And it's really cool because I choose to use DRIP, which is Dividend Reinvestment Program. So by doing that, it's hands off to a degree. All I have to do is just make sure they're on the DRIP, and then when the dividends go in, the dividends reinvest in that particular security. So it's kind of cool. Likewise, if you were a dividend investor and you wanted to look at it differently, if you had a few high-paying dividend stocks, maybe you take those dividends, you don't use the DRIP, the Dividend Reinvestment Program, maybe you don't use that, and maybe you just use that money to speculate with. That's another, if you kind of want to be a dividend a dividend investor, and then a penny stock banshee that's going after the crazy stuff. Somebody might use those dividends as something to fuel their penny stock speculation. Who knows? Kyle says, yeah, I drip some and use others for new ventures. Yeah, no, dividends are nice, man. They can be. The one thing though with dividend stocks is that, as we know, often, and again, anything's possible, but often the ones that pay dividends, the monthly or annual price per share increase is often not as volatile. Now, there are exceptions, and that's why, at least temporarily, and again, all of this is for entertainment purposes only, should not be considered a recommendation to buy or sell security, but at least temporarily, I do like seeing charts, when I look at the 52-week high and the 52-week low, and then look at the current, situation as a whole with real estate and everything. And I'm like, God, history often repeats itself. And, if these stocks have been beaten down to, they achieved their 52-week low in early 2020, in theory, they might rebound. So, nothing is guaranteed, but there's at least, by looking at a chart, historically there's pops and flops for most. I mean, not everything, but a lot of things there are. And, as they always, as a lot of people say, the kind of overused phrase, but it's often true, is, buy low, sell high. And, I think that's something that, when you're looking at. So, Kyle C, I guess you would call me I do like dividends, but I also like bottom fishing. So, I guess in short, I want something that may provide long-term value, but I'm not risk averse to speculating with the pink sheets, obviously the bottom of the barrel. And I'm not risk averse to bottom fishing with some of the bigger, big board stocks. Ones that have hit a 52-week low. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of things that can cause that to happen. Now, depending upon what event or events, which events cause it to happen, that may increase or enhance the perceived level of risk. So, just because something's at a 52-week low doesn't mean that it's a bargain. And just because something's at a 52-week low doesn't mean it's going to rebound or it is going to rebound. And there's no guarantees there. But, I don't know, man. I mean, but yeah, I'm obviously interested in a ton of REITs. So I'm trying to find some more. I want to, I like to diversify as much as possible. However, with that diversification, I do want to get strong positions in some of the ones that I feel, and again, I don't, this is for entertainment purposes only. I don't discuss specific ticker symbols, but I do want to establish strong positions in some of what I feel are the premium ones, and then that way, have a very strong position as the drip continues, and hopefully the price per share increases. But it's like anything else. You don't know what the future is going to bring. I mean, honestly, right now with with all of the political situation, I would have expected silver to have been through the roof, and silver right now is trading at around $22 a troy ounce. What do you cap a position at as far as percentage of portfolio size? Well, I don't really have that rule set for myself. I know a lot of very disciplined investors and speculative investors do have that, but for me, it's just a matter of, I do it on a ticker by ticker basis. There may be one that I have that's 15% of my portfolio. There may be one that's, only 3 or 4%. And there may be one that's not even 1%. So it's. And you got to keep in mind too, a lot of these, especially the pink sheets, some of those for, a couple $100, you're getting 000. I mean, you're getting, tons of shares. And if that thing rockets, then I cap the number you hold. Do you cap the number you hold or go to town? Oh, well, here's the thing. I see what you're saying. I don't put a cap on the share quantity or the dollar quantity, or the dollar amount rather. But something that I do, and this is for pennies. For penny stocks, I like to do something called riding the freebies. So again, this is all hypothetical for entertainment purposes only. But let's say I take $200 and I buy so $200 before the commission, and I buy a 0001 price per share stock. There's no bid. But for whatever reason, I feel like this could potentially become a reverse merger play. So for $200 before commission, I get 2 million shares. Well, let's say something livens up. They make that stock current and they're pushing out all the filings, and guess what? It's going to become a reverse merger play. So for $200, I'm now sitting on, potentially, again, high risk, ultra high risk. We're talking the sketchiest of the sketchy pink sheets. But in theory, I would sell enough to ride freebies. So in that fictitious scenario, I acquired 2 million shares with $200 before commission. So if I was disciplined about it, what I would do when that, I would want to recoup my initial investment. So if that doubled, then I would sell, half of my position. So I'd sell 1 million shares, keep 1 million. But by selling 1 million, if it doubled, then I would recoup my initial investment of $200 before commission, and then I would in essence be riding freebies, as they say. So if it tanks, goes back to no bid, or if it goes to the moon because of a reverse merger or something like that, there's no emotion involved. I mean, at that point I'm emotionally disconnected from it. I've speculated, I've reduced my position by half, but I recovered my initial investment. So whatever happens doesn't really have any bearing whatsoever. Now, with these things, you got to be careful because if you get, if you're trading in a traditional account and you have a big winner, I mean, potentially, you could be running into hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars worth of profit. I mean, if you penny stocks are no joke. Now, in that scenario, you can really ruin yourself, when the taxes come around. So, be aware of those realized earnings. When you're buying and selling, I mean, those are, when you buy and sell, when you sell, that's a realized earning. So, speak with and again, this is for entertainment purposes only, should never be considered a recommendation to buy or sell security. But yeah, speak with your financial advisor and see what your options are. Because I know for me, with pennies, those are things that I only trade through a SEP, a simplified employee pension fund that I've got. And then that way, when I retire, I'm sure the taxes there then will be astronomical. But, in theory, if I'm making millions of dollars, I'll lose a large percentage of that to taxes when I retire. But if I did that through a standard account, and then, that was coming into play with my, the annual income, you're kind of in a lose-lose situation, because if you're a big investor and you have success, then those dollars are, putting you potentially into different tax brackets. But if you do it through, something that's taxed when you withdraw, when you retire, well, then it's kind of like, well, is that better or is it? Because when you retire, the taxes are probably going to be much higher. So would it have been better to have increased your tax bracket, getting there as you got to retirement, or potentially taking a much larger tax hit when you withdraw after retirement from like a SEP, simplified employee pension? I mean, I don't know. There's not really a right or wrong answer, but I mean, my thing is that I always like to live cheap, but I'm not, when I retire, I don't want to be cheap. I want to have it set and know that, hey, guess who made this happen? That's right. A lot of good luck in penny stocks. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, and also people that trade for the now and cash out for the now, it's often like you want to go out and spend a lot of that money versus saving it. So I think, I don't know. I like trading through a SEP. But just, again, personal opinion. This is for entertainment purposes only, obviously. But it's, until you've had a big runner with penny stocks, it's hard to appreciate and understand the emotion. I mean, it's, penny stocks are a penny stock trader should remain emotionally detached. Don't let emotion become involved with the trade, because when and if a trader does, often they make poor decisions. But when you hit the big winner, it's hard to not let emotion become involved, because then it's like, well, daggum, I potentially turned a few $100 into a few million. Wow. But really nowadays a few million's not that much because of inflation. So it's easy for people to get ahead of themselves and feel like they've really accomplished something, and they haven't. So anyway, that's the penny stock rant. Y'all see, I love penny stocks. And I love REITs. But REITs, real estate investment trusts, are just so tame. And they're so, just put them on the side, don't even look at them, and check them, check again in 10 years kind of thing, It's just not the second by second trading, obviously. But there's a stock for everyone. That's the thing. I mean, everybody's got their own level of risk tolerance, and everybody's got their own objective for speculating with stocks. You know, it's either a casino or it's an uneducated casino where you don't even know how to open the casino door to get inside. A slightly educated casino where you know how to get in, but you don't know which game is which. A more educated casino where you know the difference between slot machines and blackjack. And an even more educated casino where you know how to play those games. And amplify that where you feel like you may have an edge because of your perceived knowledge. Ultimately, the house is probably always going to win. So, you know, stocks are always gambling. It's just that the different tiers, you know, the big boards versus the over-the-counter markets. I mean, there's a heightened degree of uncertainty when you're dealing with the OTC markets. But with that heightened degree of uncertainty comes the heightened possibility. See, I stepped in dog crap. Let's see, I think I stepped in some. Let's see, we'll see here. Nope, shoe's clean. It just felt like it. So it was something slimy and it felt like poop, but it wasn't. That's good. So, yeah, I mean, you never know. Just like that. I mean, I just potentially stepped in a puddle of poop, but I didn't. So, the same with the stock market. I mean, you know, you could think that you stepped into something bad and it, you know, over in a minute or so change and just break out. I mean, you never know. You never know. And that's the most thrilling aspect, in my opinion, of the stock market. Appreciate y'all tuning in for this walk. I've burned a casual 221 calories, which is not enough. I've got to get to the program. I've got to get out on the Appalachian Trail. I got to walk a few hundred miles with a 75-pound pack on my back and burn some fat. So appreciate y'all tuning in. We're going to be doing a live show from the studio soon. I talk about anything y'all want to. You know, anything's free game. You know, my only ask is that we always keep the content clean and appropriate for all age groups. You know, I want to keep everything on this channel entertaining, possibly educational, but most importantly, clean, you know, for all age groups. You know, nothing inappropriate. Tell me what y'all think, and y'all have a good day. Thanks for tuning in.